My name is Jennifer Miller. I've been married for 10 years, tirelessly working for my family's sake. My husband is very domineering, getting upset if not obeyed, sometimes even resorting to violence. However, I noticed his affection for his daughter from a previous marriage, Emily. I first met Emily when she was 15. Despite being in her teens, she called me mom and willingly helped with chores around the house. Because of this, I believe we quickly came to share a bond like that of a real mother and daughter. Now, Emily is getting married, and today is her wedding day. I was overjoyed to be there as her mother, wishing for her happiness. However, when we were alone in the dressing room, something unexpected happened. Mom. What's wrong? You don't need to be so nervous. You're not my real mom, you don't have to. So please, don't attend the ceremony. What? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Emily was trembling, her head bowed. What did you just say? Don't attend the ceremony, it's embarrassing. I could hear the quiver in her voice. Why would you say that? I'm sorry, his family is wealthy. A poor person like mom. She couldn't finish her sentence and fell silent. I see. Okay, if that's what you want. I won't attend. I'll just pray for your happiness from here. Tears filled Emily's eyes as she looked at me, then she left the room, unable to stay any longer. The once joyous atmosphere of the dressing room was now as cold as ice, with only the chill of rejection lingering. Why? Why would she say that? I thought I did my best as a mother, but to her, was I never really her mom? Holding back tears, I managed to smile for Emily, but it crumbled as soon as she left. Tears flowed freely, and the past 10 years felt like they were in vain. I remembered the first day I met 15-year-old Emily. She shyly looked at me, barely able to greet me properly. Gradually, we grew closer, but it was a struggle to understand how to relate to each other. Later, when we talked about those times, Emily would say, I felt the same. I wanted to call you mom right away, but I couldn't. I was such a difficult child, and she would smile. We would go shopping together, cook together. I never knew how much I could love a child, and I cherished Emily. But my husband didn't see it that way. He forced Emily to study hard. He wanted her to get into a good college and a good company. And ultimately marry into a wealthy family. She went to tutoring every day for a week without any time to play. If her test scores fell below 95%, he would be merciless. She was forced to study continuously without breaks for meals. When I heard this had been happening since kindergarten, I felt more sadness than shock. As a result, Emily couldn't make any real friends, only competitors. Feeling sorry for her, I once confronted my husband about it. Please, let her have some fun. Why should I? It's too sad for her not to have any friends. What's the use of friends? It's better to have one talented friend than 10 mediocre ones. But it's cruel to make her study all the time. Childhood is just a brief time in life. The adult years are much longer. It's too late to regret it when that time comes. You say these things because she's not your own child. That's not true. Just listen to me. I'm making sure she gets a good education and marries into a good family. That way, she'll have a secure future. Is marrying into wealth really that important? Of course. What's the alternative? Marrying a poor man and struggling for life? You grew up poor, so you think friends are more important than money. Friends can be made even when you're an adult. But wealth is built through effort in childhood. I want to ensure she never struggles financially. But enough. She's my daughter. I decide her education. If you can't follow my rules, we might as well divorce. Back then, I was so tired of life with my husband that the threat of divorce didn't hurt much. I thought it would be easier without such a tyrant. But divorcing him meant losing Emily too. I knew what would happen if I left Emily solely in my husband's care. It was clear without even thinking. Above all, she was my child and my heart. The thought of leaving her was unimaginable. I was genuinely happy when she got engaged. I was ecstatic about picking out her dress, planning her honeymoon. But I noticed Emily wasn't happy. So that was it. She didn't want me at the wedding. That's why she wasn't happy. I was so oblivious, getting excited all by myself. How foolish of me. I didn't realize her pain, happily accepting the marriage arranged by my husband, believing it would make her happy. I never thought my presence would be a burden. I thought I was her mother, but that was only in my mind. Tears kept flowing. Unstoppable no matter how much I wiped them away. I wanted to see her in her bridal gown. As I cried in the corner of the dressing room, Emily, who I thought had left, came rushing back. She sat on the floor and started apologizing through her tears. I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't want to say those things. I was told I had to. I'm so sorry. Surprised by her sudden return, I made her sit on a chair. What do you mean? I really want you to be there, Mom. I never thought of you as a fake mom. You're the one I want to bless my marriage the most. But I don't want this marriage at all. I don't want to marry like this. Emily said, clinging to me. What was going on in her mind? What was she struggling with? Can you explain what's going on? Yes. I actually have someone I love. We've been dating for 2 years. Really? Who is it? He works at the legal clerk's office, helping me. He's currently studying to be a legal clerk. Emily had earned her legal clerk qualification upon graduating from college. When she got a job at a legal clerk's office, I was happy for her hard work, but my husband opposed it, insisting a corporate job would be better for marrying into wealth. But I convinced my husband, arguing that many large corporations value legal clerks and such connections could be beneficial. Why did you agree to this arranged marriage then? Because Dad would never approve. He wouldn't allow it. The guy is from an ordinary family and still an assistant. He doesn't earn much. But you still want to marry him? Yes. But Dad insisted on this marriage with the director's son, saying it would make me happier. He wouldn't let me defy him, and then he told me to make sure you didn't attend the wedding. So, those words were Dad's doing? Yes. I didn't want to say them. I know how much you love me. I want your blessing more than anyone's. But I can't defy Dad. I'm terrified of him, scared he might hit me again. That's why I said those horrible things. I'm so sorry. So that's why you weren't happy when choosing the dress or discussing the honeymoon? Yes, I didn't care about the honeymoon. I wanted to go with you instead of him. But if I said no to the marriage, Dad would surely get angry, Emily said, bursting into tears again. Controlled by violence, she couldn't argue or refuse. Knowing this, I felt my heart breaking with her pain. But crying together wouldn't change the situation. But why did your dad refuse to have you at the wedding? He said it's because your parents are poor. My parents? Yes, he mentioned their debt and their rundown house. Well, it is a bit rundown. My parents were never wealthy. With many children, life was tough. We were close as a family, but they had to borrow money to get by. Once we kids grew up and started earning, things improved to an average level, but there was never enough to repair the house. My husband despised my family home and never visited after we got married. When I visited my parents, I had to do it secretly in a day trip, keeping it from both my husband and Emily. But I love your side of the family, Mom. I remember when I first brought them a gift, bought with my own allowance. It was something cheap, but they were so happy. That gift is still displayed at their house, dust-free. They cherish it. They're warm people. Yet Dad despises them because they're poor. I see. I didn't know that. So, it's for that reason. My fiancé is the son of Dad's company director, from a wealthy family. Dad said I shouldn't have someone from a poor family like yours at the wedding. He said it would be embarrassing if the fiancé's family found out, making my life miserable. That's terrible. I don't think that way. I find it embarrassing that Dad thinks like that. Thank you. I understand now, Emily. You don't want this marriage, do you? No, I don't. But it feels inevitable. I understand. I'll put an end to this marriage for you. What? Trust me, no matter what happens. I won't let you be unhappy. You have to marry the person you love to be truly happy. Okay. Emily looked at me intently and said she trusted me. With that, I knew I had to act. I left the dressing room, determined. As the reception began, I sat next to my husband, which immediately soured his mood. Why are you here? I'm Emily's mother. It's natural for me to be here. Your attendance brings shame. On the contrary, it's odd for a mother to miss her daughter's important wedding. She's my daughter. Yes, she's your daughter, but blood isn't everything. For the past 10 years, I've been her mother. You have no right to complain. Didn't Emily tell you not to come? Yes, she did. Crying, she asked me not to attend. Why do you think she cried? She must have hated it that much. Why attend if your daughter doesn't want you there? Shameless. Say what you will. You're supposed to listen to me, like always. Well, the me from 30 minutes ago would have listened. But not anymore. I won't listen to you anymore. What? Keep your voice down. It's unseemly. The other parents might wonder what's wrong. Isn't this marriage supposed to be a step up for us? Humph. Just wait till we get home. You've disobeyed me. Be prepared. My husband threatened me. Normally, I would have succumbed to his intimidation. But as a mother, I needed to be strong, regardless of my vulnerability as a woman. Despite his displeasure, the reception proceeded smoothly. Midway through, the host called my name. Why are you being called? This was my doing. Normally, it would be my husband's turn to give a congratulatory speech, but I had requested to be the one to speak. The groom's parents looked puzzled by this unusual arrangement. However, I confidently walked to the microphone, smiled, and nodded at the high table. Emily nodded back. And then, I began my speech to offer congratulations to the bride and groom. I wanted to speak today to tell you the truth. I'm not her biological mother. I became her mother when I remarried her father when she was 15. Emily is a wonderful child. She calls me mom and we do things like shopping and cooking together. But back then, she was sent to tutoring late into the night, leading a life filled with nothing but study, without a single friend. Perhaps I was her only friend, and her mother. Although she always scored above 90 in her tests, my husband was not satisfied unless she got 95, often resulting in physical abuse and denying her meals. The venue buzzed with murmurs. It was understandable, the idea of not being satisfied with a 95. And not providing meals was excessively harsh. My daughter has been forced to strive for a marriage of wealth, as instructed by my husband since her kindergarten days. As a child, she dreamt of it without understanding the meaning. Now as an adult, suppressed by violence, she couldn't defy my husband, choosing the groom he wanted despite having someone she loves. Can such a marriage truly bring happiness? Stop it. What are you saying? This marriage was chosen by my daughter. I didn't force her. My husband tried to grab my microphone. But Emily intervened. Stop. Someone, please stop him. Marriage is the beginning of a long journey. Without love, it won't last. But Emily doesn't love the groom. She loves someone else. As her mother, I want her to marry the person she truly loves. What does this mean, Miller? Is this true? It's a lie. This woman is delusional. It's not a lie. Emily told me herself, crying. She's from a poor family. She fantasizes about love over money. That's all. My family is indeed poor, with many children, and life has been tough. My parents had to borrow money to make ends meet. But what about your family? My family. Do you think I'm unaware? Your father is also in deep debt, all due to gambling. I've been sending as much money as I can every month, and you just take it for granted. Aren't you also addicted to gambling? No matter how much we pay, the debt just keeps growing. That's ridiculous. Are you addicted to gambling? No, that's not true. I do gamble, but it's only occasional visits to the casino. But you also bet on horse racing and boat racing. Why lie? You're pushing our daughter into this marriage to pay off your debts and continue gambling. That's a lie. Stop this nonsense. Our family's debt amounts to as much as $300,000. Unable to repay this debt, I've even resorted to tampering with the company's funds. What? It's a lie. There's no way I could do that without getting caught. You're not just a finance department employee, are you? As a manager, there must be countless ways for you to fudge the numbers. You plan to return the money before the audit, and once it's over, take more from the company to gamble away. You think you can just win it back and repay it. But you know it's a crime, yet you can't stop, can you? Miller! Is this true? No, it's not. It's all lies. I would never do such a thing. Borrowing money from here and there, even dipping into the company's funds. And this man is going to be your father-in-law. Are you okay with this, Ken? Is what your mother's saying true? My dad's gambling addiction is real. We do have debts. I don't know about embezzlement, though. So, you're not marrying me because you love me? I'm sorry. I couldn't stand up to my father. That's all. Is it also true that you have someone else you love? Yes, I do have someone I love. If it's possible, I want to marry him. So that's why you're always distracted when I talk to you. Always silent, is that the reason? Maybe. I thought you loved me. You're wrong, aren't you? You just thought I was easy to handle because I never reacted, right? And because I'm a paralegal, I look good on paper. That's all it was. Why did you accept my proposal if you loved someone else? I would have been beaten by my father if I hadn't. That's ridiculous. That's not true. My daughter loves you. She can't even think of another man, she loves you that much. She's quiet because she respects you. Isn't that what a true lady does? She knows how to make a man feel respected. That's just like being a puppet. If Emily has someone else in her heart, there's no point in me getting married. No. Emily loves you. You can't call off this wedding. Emily, apologize. Apologize properly and make him forgive you. I'm sorry, Dad. Mom was brave enough to speak up. I need to be brave too. You stupid girl. You know what happens when you don't listen to me. You'll regret it when we get home. Miller. Do you realize what you're saying? Hey. You're committing a threat. Even if you're family, there's a limit. Shut up, I'll punch you too. No matter how much you beg for forgiveness, I won't forgive you. Miller. A man like you becoming part of the family? Unthinkable. This wedding is off. No. Boss. I'll also look into the company's money issue. You can't hide forever. You better be prepared. What have you done, Jennifer? This is all your fault. It's because you said too much that this happened. Take responsibility. Take responsibility right now. I understand. I'll take responsibility. I'll divorce you. What? You wanted to divorce me, didn't you? I've endured it just because you didn't want to break up with Emily, but I've reached my limit. I'm cutting ties with you too, Dad. Making me say terrible things to Mom, not letting her come to the wedding, choosing my marriage partner for your own benefit. You've done whatever you wanted. I can't tolerate this anymore. I'm going to live with Mom. How dare you? Fine. But I won't pay a penny in alimony. Miller. You're paying for the wedding venue. Understand? Why should I pay? If anyone should, it should be Jennifer and Emily. That's fine. If it means I can cut ties with you, it's nothing. I earn way more than you anyway. I'll support Mom. Don't ever make her suffer again. Emily said this, took my hand, and we ran to the dressing room. The guests, shocked by the sudden turn of events, were relieved the wedding ended. Many sympathized with what Emily and I had endured. Back in the dressing room, Emily and I looked at each other and smiled. Mom, that was amazing. I never thought you'd make such a speech. Yes, I even surprised myself with how bold I was. But now we can't go back home. I don't have much stuff, so that's fine, but finding a place to live is the problem. Don't worry, I have a room that was meant for my new house. Let's stay there for a while and find a new place. But I don't have any money. I don't want to be a burden to you, Emily. I'm a paralegal. I earn a decent salary, so there's no need to worry. While we were laughing, there was a knock at the door. A refreshing-looking young man entered. Tom. Who's this? The person I said I love. Oh, I see. Should I leave then? No, could you please stay and listen to his story? Sure. I'm Tom Young. I'd like to date your daughter with the intention of marrying her. Ah, I see. Sure, go ahead. Thank you. But I must tell you, I'm not a paralegal yet. Is that okay? If you're willing to work hard from now on, that's fine. It's not like she's marrying a job. If you two are truly happy, that's what matters most to me. Thank you. I'm relieved. I never expected things to turn out like this. I thought I had to give up on Emily. I'm happy too. Finally, you can move forward with someone you truly love. Mom, are you sure I'm not bothering you? Just then, the door burst open, and my husband came in. Jennifer! What are you going to do about this? You! And who are you? I am. My boyfriend. You! The one who seduced my daughter. Don't say such cruel things. He's my fiancé. What do you do for a living? Is your family rich? Do you have money? Hey! What does his family background have to do with anything? Dad. I said I'm cutting ties with you. Mom's getting a divorce, so you're a stranger to us now. What? After all I've done for you. My life plan is ruined. I'm not your robot, Dad. I won't listen to you anymore. I've decided that. If you had listened to me and married well, you would have been happy. That's not true. It's better to be poor and with someone I love. We'll pay for the wedding venue, so please leave. Do you even have that kind of money? I'll manage somehow. Don't talk big when you can't even do it. It's okay, I'm here too. I may be a paralegal trainee, but I can cover that much. What? A trainee? You dare mess with my daughter as just a trainee? Dad, stop it. If you don't leave, I'll call the police. What? You're going to talk to me like that? Of course. I'm done being your puppet. I'll live my life with my own will from now on. What ungrateful people. My husband left in frustration. It was a relief not to be hit, but his aggressive nature was still frightening. Wow, quite a father-in-law. But don't worry, I'll protect you from now on. About the living situation we discussed earlier, why don't you and your mom come live at my place? Really? Yeah, I live in a high-rise condo. It's too big for just me. No way, you live in a condo? Yes. My parents own a major corporation. I haven't told anyone because it feels like bragging. But there, you won't have to worry about your ex-husband barging in. The security is top-notch, even when you're alone during the day. Thank you. We'll take you up on that offer. Emily's face brightened up, and I felt relieved about the happy ending. Later, my ex-husband's embezzlement came to light, and he was indeed fired. He wasn't arrested, but was ordered to repay the stolen money in full, burdening him with hefty monthly payments. But, jobless, he had no income. Despite his dire finances, he kept gambling away the little money he had, sinking deeper into poverty. Eventually, he decided to sell our modest home. However, the old, worn-out house didn't bring in as much as he hoped. Unaware of his situation, I visited a lawyer to claim alimony. Given his past treatment of me, I successfully claimed a modest amount. And luckily, he had just sold the house and paid me in full, albeit angrily. After paying, he spiraled down into a life in a shabby apartment, overwhelmed with debt, and barely making ends meet with part-time jobs. Desperate, he came to Emily for help. But she firmly rejected him, telling him to deal with his own mess. Then, he begged me to reconcile. But I refused. With his extreme selfishness and refusal to address his gambling addiction, it was clear that reconciling with him would lead to nothing but misery. When I told him that accepting such a situation and facing that kind of hell was unthinkable, he called me cold-hearted as he cried. Given that he disappeared within a few months, it's likely he ended up living a homeless life somewhere. As for me, I'm enjoying life in the luxury condo with Emily and her fiancé. We're busy selecting a wedding dress, planning the ceremony, and looking at honeymoon brochures. It's a delightful new chapter in our lives.